You know, this is one of those times when it might be handy to have our own 24-hour live news channel. I'm just saying. Because as we record this right now, it is just hours before the president stands before a joint session of Congress and delivers his annual State of the Union address. And we are in that nether region, nether world, we just don't know what's about to happen. And can we just edit out any reference to nether in post-production?
It'll never happen.
It's my favorite region.
Quoth the raven, nethermore. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are, in fact, though, meeting for our once a week backstage pre-production meeting of Right Angle that is exclusive to the members at BillWhittle.com. And this is our opportunity to kick around topic ideas, to kind of bid on them, to fight each other for the best topics. But we're too nice for that. So, Steve, go ahead. Whatever you want, Steve. It's okay with me. And I don't think you should feel any obligation.
Three ideas enter, one idea leaves.
I have members this week. So, by tradition, whoever has members goes first. And if I take everybody else's topic, well, that's just too bad. Yeah, so Scott, I have no idea what topic it is you wanted. So I have no idea if my topic is your topic or what. But I wanted to talk about a Politico report that came out on Monday morning. They did a poll of their own with, what was this group? With Morning Consult, and they had another poll from
Is that what you wanted,
Hill
Scott?
and Harris X, and then a Fox News poll, all showing that Americans are in great big favor of great big tax increases on the rich.
I didn't want that topic anyway. I don't want you to think that Steve got the good topic, because I wasn't even thinking about doing that topic. And go ahead, Steve. You keep talking while I scroll.
I'm sorry. I wrote a column on this yesterday, and it did so well that I figured I should turn it into a Bill Whittle segment, because it's going to be awesome.
I want the best for you. That's what I want.
You know what? We both want the best for me, so we're in agreement.
Liar.
Okay, what you gonna do for members? As if I don't know.
Can you guess?
You're killing me, Larry.
I am killing you. I'm going to kill you with another lightning round. The bolts come down from
What is
the
this?
heavens.
This is now, is it a prime number yet?
I don't know. I do know I'm getting my Roman numeral practice in slowly but surely.
You know, I'm pretty sure Google has a Roman numeral converter.
At least.
I was going to say XV is what we are, I believe.
Every 3 weeks, that's
lightning round XV.
Yeah, we're going on almost a year of these now.
iPhone came out and nobody could call it the right thing. You know, it's like, it's the iPhone X.
Yeah.
No, it's the 10.
I did some terrible parenting. About a year or so ago, my older son asked if he could download, I got an app request, because, you know, his kid iPad, so it's locked down. I got an app request for Mortal Kombat. And I remember Mortal Kombat in the arcade, you know, all the little 8-bit gore. You know, you just get this little tiny 8-bit spine ripped out of somebody. It was all cartoony and cute, and I said, sure. And he downloads the thing, and he comes in, Dad, you've got to see this. And the opening of the game, you haven't even gotten to the gameplay yet, is like this photorealistic fight where a guy slices off another guy's face with his sword, and his brain falls out of the now open brain cavity. What have I done?
This is the post-facial brain area, when you trim a face, just drops.
It just whooped like that. And the reason I bring this up is he insists on calling it Mortal Kombat X instead of Mortal Kombat 10.
That's right. Well, isn't that kind of ironic, though? Because here we have the most advanced technology on the planet, at least for consumers, and the people who develop these products insist on using a numbering system that, like the old Amish were chiseling into barn beams so that they knew which ones would mortise and tenon together.
Didn't we just have Super Bowl LII or LII?
It was LII.
So, I remember when they had Super Bowl 50, that's the only time they got off of the Roman numerals, because Super Bowl L, nobody could make any sense out of it.
Yeah, that terrible.
Well, for fans of the Rams, I think this week was Super Bowl L.
It was indeed. In the Dick Van Dyke sense of the word.
Yes, exactly. It's a jolly holiday for Mary. Okay.
What an awful accent and what a great performance.
Yes, indeed. Both of those things.
British snob. Okay, so that takes care of Steve. And Bill, I know you like to go last, but I am literally helpless. I lie wallowing in my own juices at this point, trying to figure out.
Go, man, go.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. And by the time we get to actually recording this episode, I should know something about it. But there's this guy who is in this office in this state, and he did this thing years ago, and now it's become known because some entity leaked this thing, a picture of the thing, about the guy who's now the politician. And now even his own party is calling on him to resign from...
Wasn't it a Democratic governor dressed up in a cute Ku Klux Klan outfit when he was in high school or something?
Yeah. Well, there were two guys in the photo, and it still isn't clear whether the governor of Virginia is the guy in blackface or the guy in the KKK hood.
Apparently, he has acknowledged, though, because I watched a video of him talking about when he went to a party dressed as Michael Jackson and had the glove and, you know, whatever, the costume, and put a little shoe polish on his face. But in his defense, he says, he didn't say it this way, but I'm saying in his defense, he asserts that he didn't cover his entire face with shoe polish because that stuff doesn't come off. And, you know, Michael Jackson, of course, would disagree.
You know, this
is our politics today.
This is we saw it with Kavanaugh too. Of all the things that the left has now foisted on us, this retroactive, prosecution for things you did in high school is the it's
but
the
they
lowest
circled
of
the
low.
wagons around him, Bill, when he supported post-birth abortion, infanticide. They circled the wagons for that.
Of course.
So I just think because
it is demented and it's insane.
Because the glove is on the other hand now, in the sense that this is a Democrat who's being publicly pilloried, Hillary Clinton, is getting this kind of treatment. I thought it would be an interesting time to revisit that issue of what kind of accountability should current elected officials have regarding past behavior long before it was even envisioned that they would become elected officials.
And the answer is the same as it was for Brett Kavanaugh, which is none.
That's right.
Okay, well, that ought to be a brief episode.
There's so much. There is a lot to dig in on that topic.
Well, and it just, I just think how many of us, me especially, have not engaged in tasteless, rude, and offensive comments and behavior in our past, and I guess I just wonder why the electoral mechanism is inadequate for the exigency of the moment. Like, it's not enough to say, okay, well, now we found this out about this guy. He's up for re-election sometime within the next 2 to 4 years.
Nope.
I can't vote for a guy like that again.
Nope. Thought crime, and the
bad.
Ministry of Truth will be certain to eliminate that episode in the next edition of the dictionary, which will have 70,000 fewer words.
Quick correction. Well, no, it's the Ministry of Love you've got to worry about when they get their hands on you. Yep.
Double plus ungood. So, yeah, anyway, I just think because it's so easy when you come from a particular political perspective to have people say, well, would you be saying this if it was one of the guys from the other team?
Yes.
So
these are principles.
So let's have that moment, if you will.
Absolutely.
And during the episode, because I'm so poorly informed on this issue, during the episode, what I'm going to do is I will start to speak a sentence, and then I will leave a gap for Steve to fill in the actual information involved. So I'll say, this man who was and Steve will go, governor of the state of Virginia, whose name was...
I don't remember his name, though.
Ralph Northam.
Totally Thank you.
So if we could just conduct ourselves in a manner befitting the excellence with which we devote to this program, I'll be delighted.
No, we don't have to go that
No,
low.
I don't think we have to go that far. So anyway, so Bill Whittle, once more, Smod keeping his track record of failing in his commitments to you.
Yeah, somebody in the Stratosphere Lounge show last week said something I thought was just so brilliant. I just saw...
And it wasn't you.
On Drudge...
Yeah,
no, it wasn't me. I said it was brilliant. Obviously, it wasn't me. I I saw the Drudge picture of the Academy Awards, and they're talking about how inclusive it is and how diverse it is, and they still got a long way to go because there's not 50% nominees yet for our women and all the rest of it. But by God, they're working on it, and they will get this thing down to a demographic perfection. And one of my commenters said, well, since all these people are all socialists, why doesn't everybody get an award? I thought, well, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever heard.
You made a movie.
Yeah.
Or even better, you thought about making a movie really hard.
But who are we to say that you're a better actor than this person?
Well, from each according to his talent, and to each according to his lack thereof.
How are we to know? No, but how are we? How can you possibly judge that one person gave a better performance than someone else? I mean, surely all 5 of the people should win the best actor Oscar. And when you get right down to it, it discriminates against the people whose perfectly equal performances came in 6th, 7th, 8th. So really, everybody who performs in a movie in America should get a best actor Oscar, and that discriminates against people overseas. So I think anybody who appears in a film anywhere should get a best actor Oscar. And furthermore, it's not fair to the perfectly fine and talented actors who are not actually working. So I think every actor in America ought to get the best actor Oscar, because this is the end result, the logical conclusion of their philosophy. You want to talk about inclusion, man? That's inclusion. You give every single actor in the world the best actor Oscar or best actress Oscar, and you give every director who ever directed anything the best director offer. Who are you to say that one is better than the other? Number one, and number two, by what racial and cultural privilege standards do you eliminate people who have every right to be on that stage and are disqualified simply because they didn't make a movie that year?
What's it called? Shoot! No, come back to me. I can't remember this thing. I'm gonna have to remember it in time for this segment.
I loved that idea. I thought it was, and also I think there's something else to be said, and that is, they don't have a host this year because it was impossible for them to find somebody to the left of the Academy. They could not find someone. No, they seriously couldn't.
No,
they pick Kevin Hart. They pick other people. Say, wait a minute, hold on. This guy may have made a comment that may not have been appropriate at some point in 1973. We can't possibly risk that. And so what they've come to realize is there's no one to the left of them that they can reliably choose as a pinnacle of just to simply introduce the names. There's nobody, not just to the left of them, there's nobody left above them as the ultimate arbiters of morality and decency. And God knows Hollywood movie stars, that's their forte. There's nobody left. There's nobody left above or left of them that can host the Academy Awards, and so no one shall. They should be hosted by themselves.
Where do they go from here? Seriously, like next year? What are they just hoping it'll wash over and people will forget? And
they're dead. They're dead. And when they say, "Well, we've got a very inclusive cadre this year," what they're basically saying, we said this before, is they're basically saying there has to be a best black actor category. Because if there's not a black person in, as an example, in the top 5 performances, then obviously that's evidence of the inherent racism and white privilege. So, if it turns out that there has to be a black actor there, why not just have a best black actor category and get back to your racist roots where you belong?
Bill, let's take this a step further. The Ivy League shuts out a lot of Asian students with extremely high test grades because then they'd be there in the wrong numbers. I think for that reason, from now on, all Englishmen and women should be excluded from the acting categories.
Yes. No, absolutely. Yes, it's completely unfair. For instance, the number of English actors at the Academy Awards is going to be far higher than the number of Mongolian actors at the award. And there's nothing you can attribute that to but just rank racism.
I had a friend who was actually a Chinese-American citizen who got accepted to Harvard, and everything was going very well until they found out that he was a secret Asian man.
Secret Asian man.
They'd given him a number.
But then let me sing.
They take away his name, Scott?
They did. They did indeed. So
this country is, this
because
is what it's like to live in America.
Because I was loath to bring this up on the because I was betting that neither one of you have seen this film, but I just want to bring it up here on because you mentioned the Academy Awards. We just saw a film called The Upside. Have either of you seen this movie?
The Upside,
familiar,
no.
but I don't think
The
I have.
Upside. Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, and
Yes,
I've
I
seen
know
the
it.
trailer.
and I had
haven't
not
seen
even
the
seen
movie.
the trailer. And Mrs. Ott knows that she can invite me to any movie, and my only question will be with you. And that's all I care about because I just want to go with Stephanie and hold her hand, and it doesn't really matter what's on the screen.
Love that.
So anyway, so while I was doing that, they accidentally put on the screen this really pretty terrific film, and it's funny, it's heartwarming, it's you weep, you laugh, you just have a great time. You feel like that was $37 well spent. It's just. Seriously, the Upside was great, and Cranston plays a quadriplegic, and Hart gets hired with no experience whatsoever to be his attendant,
As his caretaker.
Yes,
Yeah.
and really, really phenomenal acting on both of their parts. Really, and Nicole Kidman's in it. This is how good this film is. Nicole Kidman's in it, and you don't really care.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
it's a shame that it's going to be snubbed because they had hired such a I can't remember whether he's a misogynist or a homophobe. A homophobe, isn't he?
He's a
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
He's
Yeah,
persona non grata.
Yeah, he's a homophobe. Too bad, because I'll tell you one thing, boy. If you really despise homosexuals, show business is the place to be because there's none of them there.
That's right. And there's a scene, by the way, that maybe, I don't know, maybe women don't fully appreciate this scene as well as men do, but there's a scene involving a catheter that is, Kevin Hart just plays this perfectly. It's just brilliant.
What's interesting, Kevin Hart started off as a stand-up comedian, correct?
I think that's what he is. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, and is now doing some apparently top-notch acting. And Bryan Cranston started off as a very lightweight comedic actor. The first thing I remember seeing him in was Seinfeld, where he played the dentist who converted to Judaism for the jokes. It was,
And then he
of course, he's like the waspiest guy ever.
and then he played the dad on Malcolm in the Middle, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't. I'm so ill-informed about culture and the performing arts that I saw him on the screen and I thought, gee, do I know that guy personally? Did I see him in the store or something? Like, I don't.
Did you buy any blue meth off of him at some point
did not.
in Texas? Then you're probably not familiar with
And then, of course, Breaking Bad, where I had no idea he could do that. In fact, I'm not sure I knew any actor could do that.
Well, it was terrific, and if you haven't seen the movie, I mean, it's not The Greatest Showman, but it's The Upside. I felt it
Adding
was
it to the Netflix queue
totally worth the nickel.
right now.
Okay.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We actually have some work to do now to produce these programs for you this week here, and as you hear us say over and over again,
programs or programs?
Programs.
Oh, okay.
No,
Good.
that's different.
Yes, sorry. We say this, I think, after almost every episode, and anytime you say anything over and over again, it's like when people have some sort of rote prayer that they deliver at the dinner table or before bed, or the singing of Amazing Grace, and you lose what you're actually saying when you're singing Amazing Grace. This is kind of like this. That at the end of every show, we like to take a moment to thank the members at BillWhittle.com who pay for us to be able to do this. And it's your money that buys the gear, it's your money that pays the rent, it's your money that puts food on the table at several households. And we are grateful for that. We get to do something we love, which, as it turns out, you love as well. And we are just enamored of this symbiotic relationship that we share with you, and could not do it without you. It kind of reminds me back in the day when I was running for office, when I had a hard time asking people for money, and I had this illuminating moment one day where it suddenly occurred to me, wait a minute, the people who give this money do so for a purpose. And in that case, it was because they don't want to run for office.
It's kind of a pride.
Scott Ott will do the job that Americans won't do.
That's right. So they're glad to be able to do what they can do in order for me to do what I'm willing to do. And in a sense, we've got that kind of relationship with you too. Now, we know that many of our members are actually probably sharper than we are, and we're just grateful that you haven't figured out the technology again yet to be able to produce a competing show and drive us out of business. But in the meantime, we're grateful for the support of members at BillWhittle.com. If somehow you've snuck into the room and are watching this and are not yet a member, you can join by going to BillWhittle.com and clicking that Become a Member link. So for Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, I'm Scott Ott. We look forward to seeing you this week on Right Angle.